Welcome into Citrus Preps. Today, the focus will be on Seven Rivers Christian School alongside Mike Deem. I'm Brett Knutson, and talked a little about Lecanto and Crystal River. The last couple of podcasts turned the attention to Seven Rivers Christian and another school year for them. Three sports really taking center stage in the fall: football, boys and girls golf, and then, of course, volleyball. And, Mike, we start with football. And
successful program. Just see how it's going to turn around this year.
Yeah, very successful. Playoff berth the last couple of years under head coach Ray Green, who has obviously now moved on to Forest High School. So now a new head coach inherits a program that, and we'll talk to Gary Dreyer, the athletic director, in just a few minutes. A program that, may be in a little bit of a transition. You're changing staff. There's some obviously some players that have moved on. And I think that's probably the biggest issue for new head coach Monty Van is there were a lot of talented seniors that graduated and moved on who won a lot of football games at Seven Rivers.
And went on to bigger and better things. There's a lot of them that went to D2s and D3s schools, and really, you got to want to make sure that they try to pick that up here this year. But I don't know if they can with the numbers they may have. Yeah,
that's a bit of an issue. And speaking of numbers, it's something that new head coach Monty Van knows pretty well. He came to Seven Rivers from Trinity Christian over in Deltona, spent 4 years over there. There you see his record, 20-21, but 2 district titles. He inherited a program at Trinity Christian that had about 14 players when he took over. Yep. And so he's used to dealing with low numbers, trying to win with low numbers, and then trying to build at the same time. And that's something that he'll have to deal with at Seven Rivers. And also, as we mentioned, some talented players moved on.
Yeah, and also they went from a D2 school now, a school that's Class 2A. Now they've gone back into the
Sunshine
State Association. Yeah, so it's going to be a different look for them. They're not going to be looking at, maybe they're looking at post-game, post-season, of course, success, but, not at the same level that maybe that Ray Green was at.
Yeah, they did have success in the Sunshine prior to the move to the FHSAA last year. A couple of playoff wins in the Sunshine, lost to, I remember we did a couple of playoff games from there, pretty good. St. Edward's group that I believe has won back-to-back state championships in the Sunshine. So they've competed very, very well in the Sunshine. So we'll see what they can do. As we talked about, probably really a question more about you're going to have to replace a lot of talented players. They had some kids that played for 3 and 4 years.
Yeah.
And so you got a new coach, new system, and then you've got to replace some talent. So it'll be interesting for Monty Van, the new head football coach. We'll talk to Gary Dreyer as well. He'll get into volleyball and golf as well. So a year of transition a little bit. New volleyball coach at Seven Rivers Christian as well. We've talked about one of the things that I think really helps Seven Rivers when it comes to attracting student athletes. They got that beautiful facility.
The complex, yes.
Warrior Park is outstanding there. We've been to football games, nice baseball and softball facility. Weight room is out there. So they have outstanding facilities. And I know the next step is to make some upgrades to the school to help the gymnasium as well.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask you, too, maybe you have an opinion on it, is that, with this, the new high school ruling where you can jump from team to team during the season. Do you think that helps or hurts Seven Rivers?
I think the jury still is out because, at least I haven't seen a huge change in the last couple of years. Obviously you're worried about kids who will play for a coach at one school and then the next day go to another school to play for another coach. And, I don't know if practically doesn't help anybody.
That's what I mean. That's what I was going to say.
It's not.
I don't know how
it
works
good for anybody, but I guess you understand. Kids and parents want their kids to play for the best school and the best program. But guys like us who are old school, you go to a school, you play 3 sports for the school, and you call it good. But we also watched movies on beta, and so things are changing.
Beta,
and if there's a reason why the FHSA is allowing it, then there obviously is some things they have to do, and you have to go with it. I guess maybe we can talk to Gary and the other ADs about. I don't know if it's going to be that big of a deal, because if you look at our county and the way the teams have been over the last 5, 10, maybe even longer. The football teams have each had a little bit of success, but no runs deep into state playoffs. We saw the Lecanto girls soccer team have a nice run last year. We've seen Citrus and Seven Rivers baseball make some runs into the playoffs in different sports. But generally speaking, it seems to me a lot of the sports are on a very even keel between all 4 schools.
That's true.
And you hope that means most of the kids will stay. And
it might mean different, when you're in Miami and down in Miami or in the bigger cities, because they can jump from back and forth and take a bus to somewhere. Then
I think that's where you would probably see the most change, and that's where I think I've seen most of the complaints on Twitter and everything is about some of those places.
But it's a good question to ask Gary when he calls in.
Yeah, no question about it. Social media, that's where we're at Citrus Preps on Twitter. You can check out every podcast on YouTube. Like us and follow us on every platform. We would certainly appreciate that as we get going. As we mentioned, Gary Dreyer, the athletic director, and also he is girls basketball coach, softball coach, a man for every season at Seven Rivers. He will join us in just a minute to talk about the fall sports at Seven Rivers Christian, what we can expect from them, and what's going on as they get set for a new school year. I want to remind everybody too, Mike, if you haven't seen our podcast in YouTube, we did announce the first couple of high school football
good ones too
games of the week to start it. It'll begin week 1, which is a week from Friday night. Dunellen will travel to Crystal River. We talked to Bobby Verlato last week about it. Good way to start the season if you're Crystal River against a good opponent. No, you don't like that?
Well, Dunellen is a powerhouse right now. They got some good guys coming back. Goolsby is another one. He's already committed. So there's some good players on Dunellen. They're going to test Christopher Pirates.
Yeah, absolutely. And week 2 will be out at Citrus High School as they welcome in Dunellen. So hats off to Dunellen, and maybe this new playoff format with PowerPoints and everything helps keeping those rivalries alive. That's one thing people were
worried about.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll pause for a quick break, and we'll be back with Gary Dreyer, the athletic director at Seven Rivers Christian. You're watching Citrus Preps.
Changing your kitchen or bath? Let the professionals at Deems Kitchen and Bath Showrooms help you update your old kitchen or bathroom. For over 33 years, the Deem family has provided quality products and services to homeowners and builders, from total remodels to changing out your countertops.
DCI Countertops is our 15,000 square foot facility for manufacturing your silestone, granite, and Corian countertops. We can provide all your countertop needs directly from the manufacturer. So for your next project, remember the professionals at Deems Kitchen and Bath Showrooms and DCI Countertops.
Don't dream it.
Deem it.
Welcome back to Citrus Preps. Mike Deem and Brett Knutson joining you today, talking a little Seven Rivers Christian Warriors athletics, and we're pleased to be joined by the athletic director for Seven Rivers Christian. He is Gary Dreyer. Gary, thanks for taking the time to join us. I know it's a busy time, but how are things going for you and the school as you get ready for another year and another fall sports season?
Well, thanks for having me on first, fellas. I appreciate it. Everything is going really well. I'm real happy with the direction of what's going on with our athletic program, and our coaches and our student athletes are working hard to put out the best product we can.
Yeah, absolutely. As you get ready for the fall, I know a little change in terms of the programs and the folks who are leading some of your fall sports. Usually the case, football kind of drives everything, and we talked about it a little bit in the first segment. A new head football coach for the Warriors. Just talk about how that came about and the decision to bring in a guy who certainly knows how to deal with the way a private school has to work with numbers and build them, and Monty's dealt with that before, hasn't he?
Yeah, he sure has. We're excited to have Monty Van as our coach. Monty's a good man, and he has experience with us for 10 years or so. He used to be an AD. He's been a head football coach, and he understands what it takes to build a program. And we're excited about the direction things are heading right now. We've got a lot of new kids that have that've been in our hallways but haven't played before, and they're out there now putting in the effort, learning the game, and getting ready for Friday's first game.
Hey, Gary, this is Mike Deem. How you doing today?
Hey, Mike, how's it going?
Good, good. Just tell us a little bit about how many players you've had. You said some coming out of the hallways and so forth. So what's the turnout for the football team right now?
Well, we're not a gigantic school. We've got about 120, 125 kids in the high school. So percentage-wise, to us, a lot of numbers. We have about 21, 22 boys on the football team. Oh. So percentage-wise, as far as our high school student body, it's a little bit lower than 50% of our boys are out there.
Yeah, and you talked about Monty at Trinity Christian over in Deltona. He took over a program there that I think when he started, Gary had about 14 players. So he knows how to deal with that in terms of the X's and O's, but he also knows what it takes to build up those numbers and continue that program to move forward.
Yeah, he definitely does. He's building some really good relationships with the boys. One of the main focuses when we look for coaches is somebody who's going to mentor the kids, and that's important for us. Obviously, it's important for, I would imagine, most schools, but as a Christian school, we want him to mentor them in that direction, trying to lead by example, and not just saying something but living out also what he's saying. So we really feel like we've got the man now that is going to do a great job with bringing up our boys to teach them how to be men and prepare for not just Friday nights, but for the future of their lives.
That's a great point, because that's one of the main aspects, I think, as a coach. That's their most responsibility is to turn young people into better citizens and better people in the long run. But that's a great point. Tell us a little bit about the other sports you got coming up for the fall.
Well, Varsity Volleyball starts on Thursday. They're going to play in a tournament over at Bishop McLaughlin. And our head coach for volleyball, Steve Stack. And Steve has some experience as his first year as our varsity coach, but he's been an assistant in varsity, done some JV and some club volleyball coaching. And we're real excited about having Steve as our head coach. He's enthusiastic. And the girls are real happy about playing for him. He's creative. We've had a couple injury issues come up already, and so he's become real creative in how to deal with all that and have the team ready for Thursday night's game and then the start of the regular season next week.
Yeah, absolutely, and of course, a golf for your golf team. One of the guys who's been around the area and knows the game very well is Rick Kelso. So he's got a handle on your boys' team this year, and he obviously knows what he's doing teaching the game of golf.
Yeah, Rick's got a whole bunch of experience, and the Kelso family, Rick and his wife Amy, both coached golf for us, and it's just, they just go out there and are very professional about what they do and do a great job with the kids, again, mentoring and teaching them the sport. And then our cross-country coaches, Lisa Carter and her husband Benny, they, again, just do a fantastic job representing our school and teaching our kids. And we're very fortunate to have the staff that we have. We're proud of them, and we appreciate the work ethic that they have and how much personal time they'll also put into the lives of our kids. So, and then I don't want to leave out our cheerleading squad also. Beth Ensing has done a great job building our cheerleading squad. I think this year we're going to have about 13 or 14 cheerleaders. That's up from 6 last year, 6 or 7. And so she's doing a real good job of getting the girls interested in the sport. And so overall, we're just real happy to see the direction of how our fall sports are coming out.
To swing back there to the golf real quick, where do you guys play your home matches? What course is that?
Southern Woods.
Okay. Cool.
talking to Gary Dreyer. He is the athletic director at Seven Rivers Christian. He mentioned football gets underway on Friday night. You mentioned volleyball down at Bishop McLaughlin. So ready or not, it's here. School has barely started, and these student athletes have got to be ready for competition. So it gets underway, and it's a busy fall season. I know for you, then you turn around and get ready for girls basketball season.
Yeah, we're well, I enjoy watching the games with out the pressure of being the coach, but honestly, once basketball season starts and then we transition right into softball, and it's pretty busy, but honestly, I wouldn't want to do anything else. I always tell my bosses and anybody who will listen, I've got the greatest job in the world, and I love where I work with who I work for, and our goal here at Seven Rivers is always when a kid graduates the school that they look at athletics as a valuable part of their high school experience, and that they've learned something, they've enjoyed it, and they feel like this is something that they'll always be able to look back on and say, I'm glad I did that.
Gary Dreyer, the athletic director at Seven Rivers Christian. Gary, I know it's a busy time for you as you prepare for the upcoming season. We appreciate your time. Look forward to talking to you, your coaches, and your student athletes throughout the year. Thanks for the time.
All right, fellas. Thanks for calling. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you very much. That's Gary Dreyer, the athletic director at Seven Rivers Christian School. Remind everybody that's where you can find us up on your screen. At Citrus Preps is Twitter, YouTube, Citrus Preps, Facebook, and Instagram as well. So plenty of opportunities to check us out. That's where you can find this podcast. It'll be available, and that's the good thing about YouTube, Mike. It'll be up there for as many days as you want to enjoy it. So like us, follow us, do everything you need to do to get ready for the upcoming season. Again, podcasts covering every high school in the county, feature stories, interviews, and of course, game of the week coming up. Looking forward to it. Year, and appreciate that. We haven't talked a lot about it, but thanks to the sponsors who have signed on already to help us out. Couldn't do it without them. We certainly enjoy it.
All right.
That'll do it for this podcast. A reminder, stay tuned. We'll let you know with updates throughout Twitter and everywhere we go where you can find us. But we enjoy you tuning in and look forward to...
Like us.
Yeah, like us, follow us, all that.
That'll really do sounds egotistical right there. But
they do like us. Have a good night, everybody. We'll talk to you later.